You expected this. When a veteran teammate's family begins insulting them, there's a limit to how long you can keep quiet. Internet through disparaging comments, subtweets, or even full-fledged Facebook diatribe. She bit it for a time, but this week, Caitlin Clark bit back. There was a smoldering controversy in the locker due to the Indiana fever. Like a burst fire hydrant, the room has officially erupted into a full-fledged personal and professional dispute. It's oozing out into the public on a hot summer day. Let's travel back in time. Subscribe to see the complete story instead of the truncated version, if you intend to stay for the next meltdown. As you remember, the big halftime blow-up signaled the start of the entire story. The viral incident was recorded on video during a game against the Atlanta Dream, when Clark, obviously agitated, screamed at her teammates and made gestures. Shocked when she was left wide open on the perimeter during another possession and was ignored. Several other players from the game assert that Clark openly critiqued teammates and didn't sugarcoat anything in the locker room, particularly the more experienced ones, for freezing her out, performing plays incorrectly, and seeing her as a problem rather than a solution. Coach Stephanie White tried to step in and diffuse the tension, but it was too late. The next morning, Kelsey Mitchell's sister tweeted a harsh remark that went viral. The air was already toxic. Something like, "Respect those who have been working hard. Just because you were drafted first doesn't mean you run the team. You people act as like she invented basketball." She later deleted the post, but not before screenshots were. Comments poured in, supporters took sides, and Mitchell's family stepped up their efforts. And Clark, well, she didn't say anything for a few days. Nothing formal, anyway. Eventually, though, Clark answered the door. It was more than a simple clapback during the WNBA All-Star Media Tour. With a smile and a microphone in hand, it was a cold-blooded, deliberate reality check. She wondered if the drama was affecting her viewpoint, involving her teammates, especially the internet antics of the Mitchell family. Clark paused before letting go of this gem. "I'm too busy playing basketball to worry about social media." Boom. Clark didn't provide names. However, if you pay hard attention, you can almost hear that one echoing throughout the heated locker room. She didn't speak out because she didn't need to. That remark served its purpose, and everyone should be reminded that. It's Caitlin Clark who is actually putting in a lot of effort, drawing defenders 30 feet away from a basket. Every time she laces up, she breaks viewership records and sells out venues. It's their problem if some. That is too much for Warriors or their families to handle. This controversy isn't even coming from competitors. It feels so caustic because of teams, which is what makes it so wild. In reality, Kelsey Mitchell is an accomplished, a fantastic player and WNBA scorer. She has been one of the few bright lights in an otherwise boring series history, leading the Fever in points for years. Nevertheless, no one in that locker room wants to deal with this hard reality. To say out loud, she didn't ask for that job. This is now Clark's team. Forget about it. She didn't seek to be the focus of attention, but it came with a draft pick, expectations, and everyone watching her every move. Of attention. It was ready for her even before she walked into the courtroom. She is the impetus for this squad, whether or not her comrades concur. The problem is that not everyone is eager to support the cause. Some veterans seem to still think they are in control and that Clark needs to wait for her turn because she hasn't earned it yet. The saddest aspect, though, is that they are losing. They weren't exactly dominating, and they aren't building anything. The lead before Clark's arrival, if we're being totally honest. Consequently, Mitchell's family isn't just screaming when they publicly call Clark arrogant, entitled, or Hollywood. The real difference inside this team is receiving publicity. Envy Clark's rapid ascent to fame as the franchise's face made me jealous. I'm envious of her endorsements, fan love, and ESPN appearances. I'm also envious because her jersey is all, while the back of the team shop is covered in dust. In addition, some of them are acting as. Despite the fact that Clark's arrival presents a threat, instead of rising to the occasion and using it as a chance to eventually. What makes Clark unique, though, is that she knows how to respond without blowing up the entire locker room. All-Star's remark wasn't just a joke, it had to do with leadership. She didn't drag Mitchell. She was sophisticated, made her point, and let her performance speak without naming anyone. For itself. It does speak. Clark averages a team-high assist total and is second in scoring. Her court vision is unmatched. Despite the fact that she occasionally has trouble getting the ball, her defense is superior to what critics had predicted. Despite the fact that it is still improving. She is attempting to strengthen her team by outperforming everyone. Diving for misplaced balls and grabbing hard screens, but when half the room is secretly praying you don't succeed. The group is hard to motivate, and the real sadness of it all is that the Indiana Fever might be amazing. There is a blueprint and talent, but the existing culture is broken. A generational novice is surrounded by seasoned experts who are unsure whether to encourage her or dim her light just enough to make her feel tension once more. In an effort to preserve unity, Coach Stephanie White is likewise caught in the center, while paying tribute to the veterans without disturbing her star. The issue is that exceptional teams select a path. You can't keep balancing two identities, two styles, and two timelines. Clark's vision. This team is either built on tempo, space, and pace, or it isn't. In addition, the numbers are correct. When the offense passes through Clark, the ball moves faster and the group shoots more efficiently. Everyone makes more touch with the ball as transition points rise, but it only works when teammates have faith in the system, they quit playing side games and begin playing basketball. Clark, for her part, is still trying. She shouts and talks to her teammates during breaks. She cheers their buckets louder than her own. She won't beg, but she's giving them every chance to join her on this journey. It's also clear that she has stopped letting outside noise distract her from her work after. Because this is the real plot twist, it's plausible that Clark profited from her subtle but cruel all-star remarks. From the whole Mitchell family drama. It gave her a reason to become more focused, give up trying to please everyone, and start leading with conviction. She should quit acting like a deferrer. She should stop trying to fit in by shrinking. She is a franchise, not a beginner, the solution to the Fever's chaos, and she will guide the squad to the postseason if they let her. She will desert them both on the court and in the league narrative if they don't. That's not ego either. That's the reality. Because Clark is more than simply one of the best players on her team. She is already one of the most significant players in the league. She influences metrics and shifts the narrative. This episode also shows that she is adept at handling drama without getting caught up in it. This is the moment when it really hurts people who are clinging to the past and those in the locker room who continue to believe this club can be successful without fully committing to its future. This is because Caitlin Clark is more than simply a fantastic rookie. She is a stormfront that adds game plans to every WNBA arena she enters. Whether people like it or not, it compels evolution and rewrite stories. The Indiana Fever have two choices. Either welcome the storm or let it swallow them. Nevertheless, the environment surrounding this squad feels like resistance at the time. Opposition to change. Opposition to giving up control. Opposition to the fact that a 22-year-old is outperforming experienced pros in terms of intelligence, effort, and performance. Although seasoned players like Kelsey Mitchell may not express, it's evident in the missed passes, body language, and on-court chemistry, or lack thereof. The instances where Clark calls for the ball at the top of the key but everyone acts otherwise, as well as the inadequate spacing. To see her. Don't imagine that fans haven't seen either. Social media is cruel. It's like a plot involving JFK. Every freeze frame, every Clark wide open when a teammate pushes a disputed fadeaway clip, is examined. And the pressure is building quickly. Fans are starting to turn against the old guard and are denouncing the chaos. In the locker room, the election of conceited remarks, and the incapacity to adjust. They are no longer solely in favor of Caitlin. They are standing behind her as though she were the only sensible voice in a room full of static. Scoring championships and statistics are no. It's about vision, passion, and leadership, and Caitlin Clark is delivering all three. Let's talk about pressure. She's also doing it in an impossible environment, which breaks most rookies. Type. Clark had great expectations when she came, and it wasn't just buzz that got her into this league. Corporate, cultural, and national ones. While balancing locker room jealousy, covert racism, and media narratives. Given the kind of scrutiny usually reserved for music stars and politicians, she was expected to immediately save a franchise, elevate the standard, and motivate the next generation. Nevertheless, she often shows up for games, rehearsals, post-match interviews, charitable endeavors, youth clinics, you name it, smiling, concentrated, unaffected, and the ideal professional. She works diligently, perfecting her art, even when the cameras aren't rolling. Watching movies, making an effort to build relationships, and working to produce something within a crew that appears more like a disastrous chemical experiment rather than a coherent team, yet a player can only handle that burden for a very long time before she either breaks or succeeds. That All-Star Weekend interview was the turning point. Clark was flying her flag there, pointing out media misrepresentations without mentioning specific individuals. Basically stating, I'm done defending myself, I'm done avoiding delicate egos, and I'm done taking the blame for things I can't control. She dismissed internet disputes with a shrug and a one-liner. Without escalating the chaos. She realized that this team actually needs a new identity. Leadership is that. That's maturity. In addition to a new system. At the moment, it is torn between two timelines: the veterans, athletes that participated in a more traditional WNBA setting where hierarchy is respected and roles are predetermined. On the other hand, Clark is a player from the Steph Curry era. Positionless. Fluid, impulsive, and not intended for half-court sets but rather for two dribble drives and transition threes. And meticulous post-ups. These techniques counteract each other rather than just being conflicting. On the court, you're seeing a bunch trying to play two games at once. They're slowing down. Half of the squad wants to isolate and grind out possessions, while the other half wants to sprint, space, kick out, and move. Desires. It's like whiplash in basketball. When you don't know who you are, you also lose who you are as a team. Meanwhile, Clark is trying to behave like a Ferrari in a tractor-filled parking lot. Every time she accelerates, someone throws mud into the engine, but she persists. Despite the structural unrest all around her, she manages to make it work by starting over and making adjustments. She is dangerous because of her ability to lead the team in assists while still having magical moments. She is not just talented, but also a savvy individual who understands the long game. The Fever will lose more than. They will lose her if they don't put that scheme into action right away. This is the part that nobody wants. To express that Caitlin Clark is not limited to Indiana for good. She has a complete league, power, and the ability to make her own decisions. To be honest, half of the NBA is also closely monitoring the situation and speculating about what might happen next. If Indiana can't figure out how to grow around her, they might want to start looking at other brands instead of franchises that employ modern processes. Franchises with executives who understand how to cultivate talent across generations. The ability to select the winner without using passive-aggressive social media feuds. Because of the real tea, the entire Clark vs. Mitchell tale never had to occur. They might have been the perfect backcourt combo in an alternate reality. Inside out, power and elegance, speed and distance. Instead, we felt like we were at war. Caitlin has had enough. The universe requires maturity, faith, and adaptability. The spark is still there, but it's more strong now. Her body language and tone both reflect this. Be more cautious. She is not an exception to the rule that young celebrities learn the same lesson. Not everyone supports your triumph. Defenders aren't usually the biggest on the court. Not everyone in your social group wants you to be the best. Obstacles. They are teammates outside of it, but you know what? That is also a part of the journey. Every great has gone through it. Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron most definitely did. The difference is that those that came out stronger managed to grab the lead in any event. She's already ahead, Clark. Her supremacy is subtle. Defiance, and poise. She's setting the tone instead of waiting for approval. There's still time. Therefore, the question is who will go with her. The Fever can still be treated. Keeping Clark's vision in mind. The front office can still rejoin the squad. Coach White can make a change rather than trying to control her course and adopt a style that suits her celebrity. Mitchell and others can still make contributions and grow into something greater than the total of their separate contributions. Nevertheless, Clark's tolerance is short, and time is crucial. Over the next 3 weeks, everything will be determined. They face the possibility of being identified. If they don't unite behind their future, they will have lost a once-in-a-generation opportunity. Because it's clear that Caitlin Clark is determined to succeed and isn't attempting to blend in with anyone else's comfort zone. She is not here to play nice with fragile egos or to sit quietly while the families of her coworkers make fun of her on Facebook. She wants to win, and if Indiana isn't ready, someone else will be. Ask GPT to talk. The ridiculous thing about it all is that Caitlin Clark didn't enter the WNBA with resentment, she didn't start arguments, and she didn't come expecting a guaranteed shots, special treatment, or a system created especially for her. She did ask for the same things. Like any professional athlete, support, a well-thought-out strategy, the opportunity to provide her best effort, and the presence of teammates and instructors that are skilled at maximizing rather than stifling abilities. Rather, she joined a team that